Well, I guess because I grew up here, I grew up in Leyburn, so when I got to the age where I made a little bit of money, and I wanted to, I was always interested in a business of some kind, and I always looked at this hotel and felt it was an absolute gold mine because it used to take all my money. So I figured I might look at it, and by chance I wrote the bloke who owned it at the time. I wrote him a letter and just said I was interested in buying it and whether or not he'd be interested in selling it. As funny as these things come together sometimes, he was, and I did, and I became publican. I always loved the pub for what it was too, in terms of it's a very old building, very historic, and I was always attracted to that. You know, a lot of my memories are here in terms of, like, I've been coming here all my life, and my mum and dad used to come here, so we've always come here for tea and our meetings and different things like that, and it's always been the hub of this town, and so to own that's really quite special, and I'm really quite proud of it. A country hotel in a little place like this is the centre of town in terms of being a meeting and focal point for the town. And if you're going to catch up with someone, you generally do it at the pub. And that makes it fairly special because, you know, it's not just about having hardcore drinkers or anything like that. It's really about families coming here for dinner and meeting and catching up with friends, as you like to do in a country town. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing about Queensland and Queensland hotels, is because by and large, particularly in the early days, Queensland is a large state, of course, as we all know, with very far-flung communities. That's why I think the Queensland Hotel is so iconic and plays such a special role in these communities. Prior to the advent of all the communication technology we have now, people had to go and meet each other, otherwise they just didn't communicate. And so I think these pubs in all these towns, and you see some of the magnificent examples of the architecture that's involved, because they were so important to the communities. That was where everyone went to meet and do business and socialise, and they really were the hub of these places. And particularly in Queensland, where you can imagine if you were in Wenton or Boulia or Mount Isa or any of those places, how far they are from anything. And back then, the pub pretty much informed a huge part of their social interaction. A country pub is really about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because that's basically when people have time. And for people to travel here, we have very big weekends because we are what you would call a destination hotel, as well as we have a lot of locals and the town's growing a lot. But certainly our weekends are our big times. But any time we put something on, like we've got a bull ride in January, we have post-ripping competitions, which is a lot with working timber. It's a timber district. We have sheep shearing contests every year. A lot of those things are dying trades in terms of so the decline in the wool industry. The timber industry is changing as the timber sort of runs out. So those things and the trades and skills that are encompassed in those, we get to give people an opportunity to highlight those still, and people love to come out and see those things. So every time we have functions like that, they're really well received. I don't think there'll ever be a day where it's not a Queensland thing to do to go to the pub or a Saturday Arvo or something like that. I just think that's what we are, and that's what we like in our lifestyle. Supports and promotes that, and I think while ever that's the case, while ever we've got Queensland and there's a hot sun, we'll have pubs.